Hi, I'm Brian May, and this is the first video edition of Star Licks. So I'm going to be playing you some of my licks in the next few minutes. But first of all, I'd like to take a look at the equipment and show you where the various noises come from. To start with, this is the guitar which I made, which is a little different from other guitars, but basically does similar things. My guitar has 3 pickups which can be arranged in different configurations. In other words, you can have any one of the 3, or else you can have 2 or more on together. If they're on together, they're in series, which means that they add their sounds together. But I have also a reversal switch here, which means that their sounds can subtract. In case that sounds too obscure, I'll just show you what I mean. This is the sound of this pickup, which is nearest to the fingerboard. If I add in the next pickup here, in series and in phase, it sounds like this. It'll thicken the sound and make it more mellow. So it sounds like this. Now if I reverse the phase of this one, I've still got these 2 pickups on, but I've got them out of phase instead of in phase. It'll change a lot, and you hear this difference now. What's happened is the 2 pickups have cancelled out the low harmonics, and all you get is the high stuff, which makes it sound very harsh. So with different combinations of these, there's a wide variety of sounds that I can get, and I'll tell you which ones I'm using from time to time. In case you're wondering if you can get something like this, probably soon you will be able to, because Guild are making a more or less exact copy of this, which we're hoping to sell, I think, sometime this coming year. So we've been working on that together, and hopefully it's the 3rd prototype, which I have at the moment, sounds pretty well identical to this, and I can forget that I'm playing this, which is a big help to me, because as you can imagine, I've had this guitar for 20 years, and it's more or less the only thing I can play to get the right sound. Okay, that's the guitar. I use a treble booster, which is a very simple little box. It's just a 1 transistor device which boosts the signal a bit and gives me a bit more sustain through the amplifier. It also knocks a bit of the bass end off, which cleans the thing up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is what it would sound like without the treble booster. Which is a very mellow sound and quite useful for some things, but if you turn it up in a stage environment, it gets very messy and woolly and makes this kind of confused noise. Which again is nice for some things, but you very soon get fed up with it because you can't really hear the individual notes. Treble booster does is clean that up, and I'll show you what I mean. So that cleans it up, and it also gives it a nice bit of bite on the top end, that nice little sound. And I use an English sixpence for a pick as well, and maybe that makes a bit of difference too, because this has a serrated edge, and you can get a rasp with it if you want. But the treble booster is very important because it also boosts the signal up to the point where the whole thing will feed back, and that's very important for the way that I play. I need to get that sustain, and in the right circumstances, if you're standing in the right place, it'll sustain more or less forever. I'll show you what I mean. So you can kind of take your time with the notes, which is nice, and you can get some real feeling into it without the thing just dying dead on you. So whatever means you can use to get sustain through the amplifier is a big help in getting expressive lead work, I think. So that's the amplifier and the treble booster. The other device that I use as more or less standard these days is a Boss pedal, and that's a kind of splitter which processes the signal, it actually phases. It actually puts little delays on one side of the signal. So the output from my Boss pedal is fed back into a different amplifier, so that it doesn't interfere with the first amplifier, because otherwise you get all sorts of distortion occurring. So the two amplifiers at the moment, we've got them mic'd up so that they come through, if you're listening in stereo, one on each side. And you'll notice that it gives a nice sort of stereo spread to the notes, and it gives, for chord work, it makes it gel together and sound very tuneful somehow. It's just a nice gelling effect. So here, first of all, is without the chorus pedal, the phase pedal. I'm actually helping it a little bit with this tremolo bar, so it's a little bit melodious because of that. But you'll see the difference that the phaser makes now. This is with the phaser in. Okay, so that's more or less the sound that that's more or less the setup that I use to get most of what I do. The only other devices that we use are a couple of delay boxes. Now these are arranged, we use digital delays these days, although it used to be a little tape delay, which I modified years ago. The output from one of these boxes is fed back into, again, a separate amplifier so that it doesn't interfere with the first one. That's very important, otherwise they get all messed up. And from the second delay we feed the output from that to a third amplifier. So eventually you have three completely separate amplifiers, which can be playing things which, if you're lucky, work together. And if you design the progressions of your notes in a certain way, then you can make the stuff which is coming back be in harmony with what you're doing at the time. Or you can generate different kinds of rhythmic patterns. There's all kinds of stuff, and I became very fascinated with this some years ago, and all those Brighton rock solos and stuff like that were using this device in slightly different ways. So let me just show you roughly what it does. You won't hear the phasing stuff now. You'll just hear one straight through amplifier in the middle, which is what I'm playing at the time. You then hear one repeat come through on the left, and you hear the other repeat come through on the right. Yeah, so that's the general idea of that. That can get out of control very easily, and frequently does with me. But at the same time, if you're experimenting, you can find things which work. And it's interesting what turns up. It might be worth saying at this point that you probably realise it's not necessarily an advantage to have more amplifiers to get louder. In fact, that often messes up the out front mix if you've got too much coming straight out of the amps. But it's necessary to have separate amps for different effects, because at high volume everything just becomes a mush if not. And this way you can get the harmonies working together fine. Now this is the first time any of us have actually tried exactly this, but we hope you can play along as we go. So if we can just get tuned up, I'll give you some E strings. I'm going to turn the chorus off for the purpose of this, because the chorus gives it a little bit of tuning discrepancy. So this is a top E to tune to. And a B. And a G. And a D. The A. Right, so even if I'm not in tune, at least we'll both be out of tune together. Okay, so at this point, if you look at your accompanying manual, which hopefully you have, this will be lick number 1. Okay, this one from Lyre was done, as far as I remember, with this pickup 1 and pickup 3 out of phase. And slowly it's like this. Okay, this is an oldie from Roger's Rocker on the first album. It goes like this. With the aeroplane noise on the end, with the tremolo, of course. And slowly that goes like this. This one from that song called Jesus is quite uncharacteristic of me, which is a scale kind of thing, which I don't normally do. But it's a little set piece to fit in those gaps. And I can tell it's a set piece because I don't usually use this little finger very much, especially in those days. And this piece uses the little finger. It goes like this. And the slow version. Yes, the little thing from Father to Son is just a little improvised playing along piece, but it's the way that I normally think, which is playing across a chord rather than playing in scales. And it's something like this. I don't know if it's exactly like this, but something like this. Something in that region. So slowly that would be like this. Yeah, this one from March of the Black Queen uses one of my favourite tone settings, which is the first two pickups, the fingerboard and the centre pickup, working against each other, so it really screams if it's up loud. This is like this. So slowly it's like this. The first part works against the timing. It's the same phrase, but the second time the phrase is working in a different way against the timing. And I'm using a little bit of stopping with the hand to make it go instead of sustaining all the time. Make it splutter a bit. This is another piece from the same place, the March of the Black Queen, with all the settings the same. And slowly that's something like this. this little piece is from the Sheer Heart Attack album. It's Brighton Rock, and this uses probably my favourite pickup combination, which I use 85% of the time. These two pickups in phase, the bridge pickup and the centre pickup, and it's just hard enough and yet it's just warm enough and gives me a nice bit of sustain. So here's this one. And slowly that would be something like this. This is the solo from Bohemian Rhapsody, and this uses the kind of screaming setting which I can get from these two pickups, pickups 1 and 2, out of phase. And there was actually an extra bit of phasing used on this, I think, to make it scream a little more. So again, slowly, something like this. Okay, this is a little solo from Tie Your Mother Down. The beginning is using something which I like to do to get the same note in two different ways. So you get the note fretted, and then you get the note which is fretted on the fret below but squeezed up, and then it just lets down, so you get a little moan from that string. I show you what I mean. This is the end of the solo piece from Somebody to Love. And this again uses that little screamy setting, what I call it, which is these two pickups out of phase. There. So this switch is down, they're both on, but this switch is up to make this one out of phase. And everything's flat out here, everything's up full. Slowly, something like this. This is the solo from It's Late. So this uses some hammering on technique, which I never pursued very far, but for instance, Edward Van Halen has pursued a long way and made something completely different out of it, really. But this was a little piece of fun for me at that time, and it goes like this. This is from Dead on Time, and this stuff is really sort of fooling around in the timing and just seeing what comes out, but I'll try and approximate to what was on that little piece on the jazz album, Dead on Time. Which, slowed down, would be something like this, but probably not exactly like this, so don't write me letters. Fairly close, but really what it is just keeping this hand moving in time and snapping things off here. And there's lots of room for doing different things in that style. And I think when doing this, it was just a question of getting into the groove and seeing what came out. This is another little piece from Dead on Time, another little twiddle. Yeah, so the end of that piece ends up in a little harmony, a couple of harmony chords, which are laid down separately one at a time, and it's a 2 7th chords at the end there. So this is what it's like slowly. Little piece from Dragon Attack, done very late one night or early one morning, probably very drunk, but was eventually used on the master. It goes like this. And slowly it would be like this. It's got one little trick in it which I like, which ends you up on a note which, instead of being fretted normally, is held up this way. So you'll see when it crosses over it goes onto the 3rd string instead of the 2nd string, and then you're in a position to go "eow" instead of being stuck on the note. With that particular kind of screaming tone setting, and also by hitting it in the middle of the string with the pick and with the thumb, you can get those octaves coming out, the harmonics, which makes it just give it a bit more tension. You know, it screams a little more, so you hear the harmonics on the end. This is is from Put Out the Fire, again very harmonic-y, the same kind of tone setting. So slowly, it's something like this. This is a little piece from something on the Works album, which is called Hard Life. And just the background to this is we were doing something which we were conscious was very kind of Bohemian Rhapsody-esque, if you know what I mean. And Freddie wanted me to do this little tail off back into the vocals. And I did something which kind of blends in, but the thing I would have liked to have done would have got in the way of the vocals. So I'll play you what I would have liked to have played on that track now, which is kind of different, but then again, very much the same. So slowly it'd be something like this. I just wanted to put the little sting in the tail, see? The solo section in Starfleet winds up with a long run upward which accelerates, and the last bit is a two-part between Edward and myself, and they're both chromatic runs, but they start off minor and end up major. So the first one goes like this, which is Edward's part, which is all chromatic. And the other part, which is a third above, starts off a minor third and ends up a major third. And you'll see there's a hole in the middle. One of the steps isn't a semitone, it's a tone. Yeah, in case you're wondering, the whole Starfleet piece was tuned down, so it sounds natural in D, but it was impossible to sing in D, so we played it in D flat with the D shapes, like this kind of thing.
Love of my life, you've hurt me, you've broken my heart, and now you leave.
Unfortunately, we don't have an acoustic guitar here. I usually play Love of My Life on an Ovation 12 string, and the effect of that is that the third string, which will be the low string on a guitar like this, will carry the melody because it has an octave higher. But a lot of people ask about Love of My Life, so I'll just play it on here, and it may be an advantage because you can see what's going on better with a 6-string guitar. So I'll just play it nice and slow to give an idea of that. This is Love of My Life. Or a piece of Love of My Life, I should say. This is really our first song, first Queen song, which was Keep Yourself Alive. And this is the Keep Yourself Alive thing slowed down. I'm using the edge of this, this sixpence for this and just gently stroking the strings, really. Okay, for crazy little thing called Love, they made me play this Telecaster, which I don't normally do, but I can get close to the sound on this, so I'll play that for you. It's really a kind of recreation of one of those guys that played with Elvis Presley, who were quite amazing in their day, you know. I mean, really incredible. So I kind of recreated that atmosphere. And slow down. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the licks we've been licking for you. And just to wind up a little bit more of the delay stuff, we're doing this because it's pretty hard to show you building up harmonies in the studio. I think it's a pretty time-consuming thing to show, and it's probably not the kind of thing you can do at home anyway. But if you can get hold of a couple of delay machines, they don't have to be anything very special. They can be old Echoplexes or something like that. You can get this kind of thing together, and this will give a chance to get the sound of the three-part harmony across, which I personally like a lot. So I'll try and do some things which will show what's actually happening with the delays. Here's just a phrase without any repeats at all. And this is with one repeat. And this is the same thing with the two repeats, and I'll carry on. Okay, that concludes our tape. I hope you've had some fun and maybe you get something out of it. But don't forget you have to create your own licks. I think it's a good idea to do other people's though, because you pick up different little things which you can use. And I don't think anybody creates in a vacuum. You listen to people and you play. So best of luck. Do good things.
Who wanted to be your hero, Brian May from Queen? So grab a guitar because, ladies and gentlemen, she will rock you!
Wasn't she good though, Brian?
Damn good, damn good.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done, you. And congratulations. Listen to this, folks. Brian May, the number one musical in the West End.
Absolutely.
Number one musical in the West End. How about that? Mr. Brian May, everybody.
Thank you. But I think we have to do a cut. Yeah.
Okay, see you later.
Gracias, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Bien.
Que ha venido el hombre, ¿sabes, compañero?
Brian estará con nosotros, pero eso dentro de un momentito.
Sí,
porque
pero
a
¿sabes tú para qué ha venido
Juan,
el hombre?
Escúchame que te diga, nosotros nos tenemos que marchar porque hay preguntas
Hombre,
que
tú no
resolver.
sabes para qué ha venido el hombre.
¿Para qué?
Hombre, el hombre ha venido a algo, ¿no?
Sí, ¿a qué?
¿O que ha venido de Inglaterra aquí a hacerse los maíz? No,
dime.
ha venido a hacerse...
Dime. No pasa nada.
Es una locura, yo creo.
Dime.
¿Qué?
¿Qué? ¿A qué?
Pues nada, ha venido a presentar su espectáculo de Queen que se llama We Will Rayo, que está en el Teatro Calderón.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Eso. ¿Ya está?
Bueno, pues de eso
Cumplido con el
vamos a
hombre.
hablar dentro de un ratito, pero ahora es que hay que marcharse porque hay preguntas sin respuesta.
¡Para, Tomás! ¡Ramón!
Estoy aquí.
¿Qué haces?
Terminando la guitarra
¿Qué
de
haces?
mi amigo Brian May.
¿De tu amigo Brian May? ¿Pero cuándo se ha visto un viejo tocar la guitarra a excepción de los Rolling Stones?
Pero vamos a ver, ¿qué estás hablando? ¿Que tú no sabes quién es Brian May? El de los Quiz. Es que no has oído canciones de ellos.
¿Pero cómo lo voy a conocer, muchacho?
We are the champions, my friend. We are the champions, my friend. We are...
¿Quieres que te diga una cosa? Te oye Brian May en persona y te esnuca.
¿Pero qué estás hablando? Es más. Tengo una sorpresa para ti, porque es que resulta que va a venir Brian in person. Tú bring the guitar, que quiere decir a coger la guitarra y largarse para su casa. Ahora mismo le voy a llamar, hombre, espérate.
¿Cuánto te apuestas? ¿Y qué va a venir Brian May?
Yo me he puesto ahora mismo contigo 12 euros.
¿12?
12 euros.
12 no, me voy a apostar 10 por si acaso.
Venga, échala pues.
10.
¿Este qué?
¿Y qué va a venir? Sí que va a venir.
A ver si no va. Vaya. Brian. Nice to meet you, Brian. Oye, when you come into my casa, que te voy a presentar you un amigo que se llama Tomás, very cansino. Vale, ahora mismo te espero. Que dice que viene para acá ahora mismo. Ahora mismo. ¡Ramón! Brian! ¡Me cago en la leche! ¡Me cago en la leche! ¡Qué suerte! Te veo más alto, te veo bien. Cago en todo. Este para acá. Vaya.
Your friend?
Yeah, este es my friend. Tomás.
Nice to meet you.
¿Cómo?
Nice to meet you.
¿Cómo dices?
Nice to meet you.
Dice que no hay tomillo, que no hay tomillo. No hay tomillo ni romero. Ha caído una graniza este año que se ha llevado todo. All.
This.
You found it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Este es your guitar.
Your most wonderful friend.
Y te la ha dejado very bien.
Fantastic.
Te la ha
It
dejado
was
very
lost
bien.
and now it is found.
Mira. A ver, esta es una canción que te voy a dar para ti, porque esto lo he puesto yo esta mañana y me he puesto, digo, esto lo voy a dar yo a Brian, a ver si te gusta. Mira, esto es así.
Dígame. No lo recuerdo. No. ¿Es? Oh, oye. Pues, maybe.
What is my cadena, la mahuna, you remember que la gente, we rock you.
Thank you. Yeah. Ahora lo recuerdo.
Bueno, ¿te gusta esa canción?
Tengo algo para ti.
¿Qué?
Para ti.
A ver, esto.
Adiós.
Hombre.
No es tu millo.
Brian.
Adiós. Hasta luego.
Ay, muchacho, lo que me ha dado. Teatro Calderón, que han empezado ahí con el espectáculo de quiz.
¿Y qué es eso?
Pues un espectáculo, muchachos, ahora mismo no hay entrada ya, por lo menos esto después de Navidades. O sea, no hagan números, es que esto ahora mismo es un privilegio tener esto en el Teatro Calderón que está.
¿Pero qué son? ¿2 entradas?
2 entradas de
A
madera.
ver, un momento, déjame ver.
Sí, hombre.
A ver. ¿Y la otra es igual o no?
Son iguales, tienen el mismo color.
La tontería muchas veces. Bueno, vamos.
Bueno,
Me voy.
Oye,
¿Qué?
pero si tú no te gusta la música, menos la música moderna, ¿dónde vas tú con 2 entradas de
¿Que
estas?
dónde voy yo? Voy a la reventa.
Bien, muchísimas gracias. Llegado este momento del programa, a mí me gustaría, como siempre, agradecer la participación del invitado, en este caso, Brian May, muchísimas gracias por haber venido, por haber estado con nosotros. Thank you for coming, Brian.
Es un placer.
El placer es mío.
No, José. El placer
No, el placer es mío. No,
it's my pleasure. Completely.
No juguís, Brian, que el placer es mío. Una cosa que ya tuyo después ya sea, pero mío no. Perhaps, a lo mejor es tuyo, pero mío también. No,
para los dos.
Eso sí.
Un placer para dos.
Así sí.
Para tres.
Para tres.
Vale.
Absolutamente.
Bueno, Brian May.
Sí, señor. Brian, cuando ha dicho para usted, para los tres, como él habla inglés, pues lo que ha querido decir es que quiere que todos vayáis a ver el espectáculo We Will Rock You, que está en el Teatro Calderón. Y antes de que se marche, pues también, please, Brian.
Una sorpresa.
Yes. Es una sorpresa que la... The surprise of my life.
I understand completely.
No, please, and you...
Fantastic. Un regalo.
Gracias, Brian.
No, si no
que me la firmes, Brian.
Si no es para ti.
A buen Ross. A buen Ross, Brian, que te lleva la guitarra.
Brian,
So nice. Such a wonderful.
dame la guitarra.
Thank you, no, thank you so much. It's great.
Dame la guitarra. Si no es mía, no jugué.
No, es para mí.
Ya,
I understand.
que sí, understand las demás. Brian, la guitarra, si fuese mía, yo te la daría. Te la daríamos a mí, pero si es que no es mía. No juguís. Otra.
It's the best present I ever had.
No. La guitarra, no juguís.
It's not for me?
No. Mi compañero te la para que la firmes. Así que no juguéis. It's for great. For great. Do you understand?
Okay. Of course I understand. Do I sign?
No, yeah.
Sign here.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I understand. Thank you so much. See ya. See you later. No, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't do bits of paper, I do books.
Oh, can I have a picture of you?
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm going to see you in London. Can I have a very quick picture?
Yeah, very good. Fine.
So I can picture you.
Type it. Thank you very much.
Graham?
Oh, martial arts is really good.
Can we go? You don't know it? Fine.
Yeah, I don't see why
Thank you. Is a couple of minutes back to do a picture taken for me?
Right. Is this your one?
Yeah. Thanks, You're a star. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Look, listen, I'll do pictures.
What about my autograph?
Go on then.
Why not?
I've got a date.
Then do it for me. Just for me.
Queen side of things. Now I bought these on the way down to Slane here, and I got a Queen book here, which is really a dreadful piece of rubbish, very badly written. There's copyright infringements right, left and centre all over with the lyrics of songs. There's a T-shirt here which sold at £4.50. The book incidentally sold for £1. The T-shirt sold for £4.50, and it's sort of running already. All the ink is pretty bad on it, the picture is terrible. And this thing here, which is the sun visor, which is about the only thing that does work, because it is blocking out the sun if there even was some there. And this actually sells for £1.50, and it says Slane Queen written on it. That's really all that counts.
I don't find it annoying, I find it upsetting for the sake of the fans, because they buy stuff outside. They don't pay as much as they would in here, but they certainly don't get a quality product, you know. All our product has to be approved by the band. Design and the actual quality of the shirt, you know. So the band knows that whatever we sell under their name as official merchandisers is good quality merchandise, you know.
Do you realise that there's all lyrics and all that, and there's no copyright for them? That doesn't worry or matter to you at all, does it?
Sing along for a quick.
Listen, I wonder, could you tell me about the selling of the T-shirts here? I mean, are you supposed to have sort of, you know, it doesn't matter that you sell them out here, but without any sort of legal way of selling it. It doesn't matter to you about that, does it?
Well, we're just selling them for somebody. We're just selling them for somebody.
Hey, excuse me a second. Sorry, listen. In the selling of the T-shirts, is this something that you get together yourselves throughout the week, just to view the concourse? This is a specific...
That's correct, yeah.
So, like, it doesn't worry you that, like, I mean, legally it's not actually meant to happen. I mean, you're not supposed to do it.
Never knew that, David, no.
Well, what about...
I didn't realise that, no. Because the man I bought them off told me everything was strictly legitimate now.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, what about the quality?
There was a major wholesaler now, this guy.
Yeah, but is he
the quality is excellent.
He's a major wholesaler, but
I can't comment now.
Is he a major wholesaler who has a deal with Queen?
Well, as far as I was concerned, he was, yes. He was the official agent for these shirts.
Well, how many of these now would you sell, do you think, throughout the day? How many do you hope to sell?
Say there will probably be 25,000, as you say, shirts sold here today.
And this is you yourself? And there are other people?
No, it's not me.
Oh, yeah.
In general, everybody, yeah.
Yeah. And like, how many of those now would be for yourself?
I can't comment on that.
Yeah. And what percentage would you have to give the guy who gives you this in the first place?
No comment.
It's always the same, and it's very highly organised. And there's not a lot you can do about it in some places. Other places, the police will be with you and clear them off, you know. If the design is taken from the album, and it's under somebody like Springsteen, for instance, where his name can be copyrighted, that's it. The police just go out with the solicitors and take them in, you know.
I mean, it really is against the law to be doing that. It wouldn't worry you at all.
No comment on it.
It's well organised, I tell you. It's well organised.
It's well organised.
Yeah.
And like, do you make enough money on it?
Well, in all honesty, you're talking about the rip-off aspect of it. You're saying we're ripping off Queen. I think Queen are ripping off the people. They're asking 12 quid for a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
8 quid for a T-shirt. Exactly the same T-shirt on the inside. It's probably better.
Yeah.
5 quid. 3 quid of a difference.
Yeah.
What's it costing Queen? I guarantee it's costing Queen 30 bob.
Yeah.
Buying the bulk they buy in. 30 bob and they're charging the punters 8 quid. A rip off. Not just Queen. We all like Queen. I mean, all of them. Springsteen right down. I mean, so don't come to me telling me I'm ripping people off. We're ripping Queen off. Fucking multi-millionaire.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Yesterday I was talking to the police force in the area, trying to get people moved on, but there's nothing they can do. The people out there have street trading licenses. We've approached the law courts trying to get an injunction against them selling. But there again, you can't do that without the copyright on a certain logo and a certain shirt. This is very difficult to raise.
So if they have their own logo or something, there's not much you can do about that?
No, there's nothing we can do within the law.
I'm just selling the book.
You're just selling it? So, like, do you get it from an outlet?
We think we should interview.
Septiembre de 1946, es decir, que hoy hubiera cumplido 60 años si el SIDA no lo hubiera matado el 24 de noviembre del 91. Ese día murió Frederick Buslara, pero nació un mito, Freddie Mercury.
60 años, la que habría montado Freddie Mercury para celebrarlo, porque nadie hacía fiestas como él. Esta la celebró en Múnich cuando cumplía 39 y todavía se habla de ella. Travestis, litros de alcohol, enanos con bandejas de cocaína en la cabeza, modelos enfundados en cuero, orgías, estética cabaret. Los 80 parecen hechos para que Freddie los viviera. Y vaya que lo hizo, pero sin hipocresía fue grande en todo. Como showman no dejó jamás de disfrazarse hasta de reina de Inglaterra. Con Freddie siempre me reía, dice Mick Jagger. Pero uno también podía llorar con él, capaz de salir medio desnudo y luego en traje con la caballé al dueño de una de las mejores voces del siglo XX, solo pudo tumbarlo el SIDA. Nunca pretendió gustar a todo el mundo. Pero en su defensa hay que decir que pudo ser el mismo y que en 45 años exprimió más la vida de lo que la mayoría de nosotros llegará siquiera a imaginar. Freddie Mercury no era una estrella del rock. Las estrellas del rock son Freddie Mercury.
loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, staring his life from his monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go?
We'll still not know.
No, we will not let you go. Let it go. We will not let you go. Let it go. We will not let you go. Let me go. We will not let you go. Let me go. We will not let you go. Let me go. No, 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 no. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil for his son.
Thank you. beklagen. Ik kom er nog een keer. Was mama. Ja.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free. God knows. God knows I want to break free. I've fallen in love. I've fallen in love for the first time. This time I know it for real.
ロンドンの若きデザイナーたちの自由なファッションで始まったファッションエイド。フィナーレは英国の伝統と歴史を感じさせる壮大なウェディングドレスのパレードです。クイーンのフレディ・
in Holland, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time.
I've got a present for you, a special present.
Oh my God.
Do you know who this is?
I do indeed. Yes, we've come to wish you a happy birthday.
What are your memories of Holland?
All very good, but a long time ago. But all very good. We always had a wonderful time in Holland. And it's nice to be back.
It's great having you here. Tonight is the night to go out to the pub. What are your plans?
Well, I always go to bed with a good book. But I might make an exception tonight.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you indeed. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sing it, we will rock you.
Het is 8:30 's ochtends. Hierboven gaat het vandaag allemaal gebeuren. Queen gaat namelijk optreden en ik mag ze de hele dag volgen.
Goedemiddag.
Goedemiddag.
No, it's not afternoon yet, is it?
I've got a present for you. On this Queen's Day.
Oh, thank you very much.
Do you know who she is?
I think I do. Thank you very much.
All right.
Great. Are you expecting great things?
Yes.
I hope we can deliver.
Yeah.
Great.
And
beautiful weather.
What are your memories of Holland?
Ah, many memories of the Ahoy in Rotterdam. You know, it was a favourite place to play. I mean, I have to say Holland is the best Queen country, you know, always has been for a long time. So it's great to be here. We just need a little sunshine, okay? But it'll be great.
See you later.
Rocker als die is, loopt Brian meteen door naar het podium voor de soundcheck. Dit Queen-concert in Amsterdam is uniek en tot het laatste moment geheim gehouden. Het is pas de 4e keer dat Queen optreedt sinds zanger Freddie Mercury in 1991 overleed. De Queen musical We Will Rock You gaat op 14 mei in Londen in première. Brian May en Roger Taylor zijn zeer nauw betrokken en ter gelegenheid van Koninginnedag wilden ze ook Nederland met dit prachtige project laten kennismaken.
How did it feel to be on the stage again?
Cold! Extremely cold! That's the only trouble because the hands get very stiff, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I like to play. I love to play. And at the moment we're, the whole time, 24 hours a day, we're making a musical in London. And I'm showing other people how to play, you know, Queen songs. So it's nice to do it personally again, yeah. I'm enjoying it. Could do with a little sunshine. Little heat. Heat would be nice.
Because it has been a while since you played together, so it's...
Yeah. I mean, now and again we play together, Roger and I. But it's a while. Yeah, it's not a normal occurrence at the moment. We've been too busy, really. It's nice. I mean, playing is really the centre of everything, and it kind of recharges your batteries. You know, there's been times in the rehearsals in the theatre where I get very frustrated and I just go upstairs and I blast away and I sing and whatever and I feel better. It's good therapy. They seem very nice people out here.
1 uur later dan gepland begint drummer Roger Taylor aan zijn soundcheck.
Can't do anything, please.
Did you have a good night last night?
Okay, I don't do mornings, you see.
You didn't read a book?
Oh, right, I remember now. I did actually. It's a very long, exciting book.
Right, good luck.
Nou, het ziet eruit dat hij toch nog een klein beetje van Koninginnennacht heeft meegepikt.
See you later.
Drommenmensen haasten zich om een goed plekje te bemachtigen. En vlak voor de bandleden het podium betreden hebben wij nog even een kort interview met ze.
Do you like Queen's Day so far?
Yeah, I've been watching on TV this morning and It's great that everybody seems so friendly. The family are walking around Amsterdam, very different to our royal family.
No he dicho nada del pelo del pato, he dicho a táctica del perro y el gato.
Mister, ¿quién es el jugador que hace 2 semanas que juega con nosotros?
Soy Ricardo Isaacson dos Santos Leite.
Mira aquello, a mí como no me hablen andaluz, no me entero de nada.
Mas Sergio, ¿no le reconoces? Es Kaká.
¿Qué?
Kaká, jugábamos juntos el año pasado.
¡Ah! Ya me acuerdo. Tú eres ese jugador que nunca se venía de farra. Claro, por eso no me acordaba.
Claro, prefiero ir a misa que de fiesta. Es que soy cristiano.
¿Cristiano? ¿Pero no has dicho que eras Kaká? Madre mía, qué lío.
Bueno. Hombre, Mourinho, no te quejarás, ¿eh? Ya tienes a tu delantero.
Te he dicho que no quiero a Kaká. Quiero otro delantero.
Pero Mourinho, tranquilo, hombre, tranquilo. ¿Cómo tengo que decirte que no hay más dinero para otro delantero?
Muy fácil, Presi. Díselo cantando, porque ya se sabe que la música amansa a la fiera.
Es de Brasil, costó un pastón.
Pues Florentino se encaprichó.
Jugó un poquito y no lució.
Y para colmo se lesionó.
Me lesioné, pero regué y estoy mejor con la ayuda del Señor.
En el Milán era un titán y en el Madrid es un patán.
El más religioso de la plantilla
y es más soso que Hermontilla.
Necesito un delantero más.
Juega con Kaká, tienes a Kaká.
Quiero otro.
Juega con Kaká,
tienes a Kaká. Menos mal que no. Menos mal que no lo fiché yo.
Mourinho, lo siento, pero tendrás que conformarte y confiar en Kaká.
Claro, mister, dale un voto de confianza. ¿No ves que está hecho un roble?
¡Au! Creo que me he dislocado el hombro.
Bueno, nosotros vamos tirando.
¡Au!
El Estado, de unos años a esta parte, a la tercera edad se lo viene dando todo. Pensiones, residencias, estamos tirando también de lo que es zapato de rejilla y braguero de doble fuelle. ¿Y qué está recibiendo en ese aspecto el Estado? Ansia por vivir más. Pero una cosa es vivir para siempre y otra muy distinta es querer ser inmortal.
¿Vivir para siempre? ¿Con la que está cayendo? ¿Pero quién quiere vivir para siempre? Ya no hay lugar, muchacho, para la tercera edad. Y la pensión con la inflación no está garantizada. Pero entonces, to live forever. ¿Quién quiere vivir para siempre? A no mucho tardar tendrás las patas quebradas y en el asilo 100 reumas me acompañarán. Y luego irán a verte por Navidad con suerte. Esto es lo que Ricardo, viajamos a mejor me quedo como estoy.
Which would be like this. Yeah, so it's a fairly close delay, and you can do a number of things with that. It's the whole canon idea which Bach pursued so brilliantly. You can play along with something in various ways. You can play just a single note along, and you can play harmony with yourself like a... yourself up and down the fingerboard if you want, you know, making harmonies, which is really nice. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if you had two? Because then you could have this three-part harmony thing, which was always my dream, really. There's something about three parts, three guitars in harmony, which always stirred my loins. And I just always wanted to be able to do it. And in the studio, you can do it. I got my first chance to be in there doing the first album. There's a couple of three-part harmonies on there. But to do it live was a real... you know, this could be great. So with the two delays equally spaced, which is easiest, it sounds like this. Can we have the two delays? Then you can just build up as you like, and you've always got effectively three guitars playing. So. It's just a neat trick, and it always gives me great pleasure. It's always fun, because you never know quite what's going to happen. You know, I made a mistake there. You know I made a mistake, didn't you? Like, I didn't mean to do that thing leading into the diminished run down there. But it just happened, and I thought, okay, this could be nice, and we'll continue on down there. And that's the joy of it. You know, you can pretend that you know what you're doing. There's also worked well on the clean sounds as well, yeah? Yes, it works on anything. You can do it. I mean, there was a few things involved in there. You can hear that you can do strange things with the timing which work. And the timing things will work across the stereo, which is nice. And I've been playing with it ever since, really. And I like those delay settings. At low volume it works too, yeah.